Well, good day, neighbors and friends, family as well. Today is my first day off for the week. Um, let's see. We had a good time. Hope everybody's doing well. It is the Christmas season. You know what that means? Oh, yeah. We're getting out the good stuff. Kentucky Moonshine 1995. Gonna do a little cheers to the baby Jesus. Which, by the way, birth was in September, not December, but we'll circle back around to that. Some guy named Constantine made December the official Christmas kind of holiday, kind of sort of official, I don't know. But it's all Roman. Most of the stuff we see, calendar, numbers, letters, alphabet, all Roman stuff. Winter solstice, or whatever, winter equinox, you tell me, I don't know. Anyway, there was a pagan holiday, and they decided it was going to be in December. Technically, we're talking fall. I'll tell you the story. Anyway, cheers to a wonderful and Merry Christmas. That stuff will warm you up, I'm telling you. Starting to get a funky taste to it. Does moonshine do that after 20 years? Could be the lid. I don't know. But it's smooth, but it's starting to get a different flavor to it after all these years. I don't remember the last time I opened that jar. Earlier this year. Was it last year? I don't know. Anyway, my winter projects are in full swing. The sump pump is in, radon evacuation system, that's all done. So I went yesterday and bought the beginning roll of carpeting for the basement. Fortunately, 99% of the padding, well, I would say that, but there was a room that got a lot of damage to it, and that took up a big chunk of the padding. But my first area that I'm doing, the 99% of the padding survived just fine. So boom, we got that going. I'll do that, but I have a engine to put in this Packard, get it out of the way. It came with the engine out of it, so now we're at the point to where we get to put the engine back in. Yay! We'll get that done. And then the table is nice and clean. Can you see that? Dad's got a transmission that we've got to tear apart, and he is really particular. He wants this to be like a surgical table right here. It's kind of hard to do because it's wood, but I got metal shavings and all kinds of stuff on here. I have to sweep it off and basically sanitize the whole thing, because when he breaks into an automatic transmission, well, it's like surgery. You can't have nothing in here, blah, 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 blah. No dust, no nothing. So I got this all cleaned off and it's ready, and I'm happy to see that. But we took a little trip, our vacation for the year. Since the beginning of the year, vacation was planned, but then I don't know, my mom and her family were like, "Oh, we're going to go on a cruise." So then Sherry was like, "Oh, we're going on a cruise." Okay, but just a quick tip for you travelers. If you're in Mexico and you have a foot that's larger than a size 11 US and you're looking for a pair of shoes, you're out of luck. I wear a size 12, and Sherry's got this size 11 shoe, which is the largest one they had. And I was like, well, I like this one. I don't know what size it is, like 48 when you're in Mexico. I was like, I don't know, and I run it on my phone. It says it's size 11. It won't fit. She says, well, it looks close. Try it. And I about blew the tip out of that thing. Looked like Cinderella's stepsister trying to fit her foot into that little bitty deal, That wasn't going to work. So tip number 2, if you're going to hike to the lighthouse that is at the highest elevation above sea level in the world, make sure that you got a decent pair of shoes, because it's a long, long way up. I think it was 3/4 of a mile. I'll have to look, but you do switchbacks for about 3/4 of a mile, and then it turns into stairs. And then you do another 3/4 of a mile on the effing stairs. It was kind of cute. There's a bunch of cats that reside there. I don't know what goes on at the lighthouse, but there was a guy up there doing some maintenance, and then they have this glass platform that you can walk out on and kind of take pictures and stuff. You pay $1 at the bottom. Oh, third tip, if you're going up that trail, buy a bottle of water at the bottom of the hill, because when you get to the top, you're exhausted. Is there a restroom at the top of the hill? I think there is, but I I won't swear to it. I don't know. But it was an adventure. It was fun. I'm always down for an adventure. So there we went, and here we are. Not much more to tell. We had a good time, and I had a bad windstorm last week, and I had to go take care of a bunch of generators and help maintainers out up north. Just exhausted, ready for this couple days of vacation, which when you're looking at it, when you're starting your vacation, it feels like, I'm going to be off for 5 days or whatever it's going to be. And by the end of that 5 days, you're like, wow, that was a blur. That was a blur. So, it's going to come to a blur. But we've got Christmas on Saturday, and it's going to be a very enjoyable time. Going to have some of the kids there. We went to Christmas at Sherry's parents' last weekend. Went to church, sit down, stand up, say your hallelujahs. Now, they're very orthodox. I've never had First Communion, so when they go up for communion, I have to step aside, and then they come back in, because there's none of that there. You will be judged. You will be judged. But, no big deal. And I fixed his roof because he had some wind damage too. This is not Jim Beam. It used to be Jim Beam. Oh, I don't have my other bottle. I was going to get some Four Roses so you could compare it. I don't know if you can actually tell how visibly darker this is, but it is. So just a wonderful tip. You don't have to have a half gallon. You don't have to have the handle. That's just for me. But whatever bourbon you prefer, if it's a fifth, if you're getting a 750 ml, throw a half a cup of coffee beans in it. Put a funnel on the top, put a half a cup of coffee beans in there. Let them sit there and soak for probably 3 weeks. Now, I tried to do this using my nose and comparing it to the Stillhouse black bourbon, which is very good, by the way, very good, but a fifth is $21 or more. Could be up to 26. Be prepared. It is good. It's owned by Bacardi now, but the odor on it, you can really smell the coffee in it. So I steeped this or soaked this until the odor was comparable. It ended up being probably 10 times stronger than the Stillhouse. So I had to dial it back. I had to put a bunch of straight up Jim Beam in this to get it blended properly. And I don't know if it's blended properly yet. It still may be a little strong coffee-wise. But mix it up to your taste. When you get it to where you think it's right, after the 2 or 3 weeks, take the coffee beans out. I mix myself a drink first before the coffee beans come out, and then taste it. And you can tell when it's right, where it's to your liking. When it gets there, get rid of the coffee beans. Don't try to make coffee with them. It's no good. It tastes like crap. So get rid of the coffee beans and keep your bottle of now soaked coffee bean whiskey and mix yourself a drink. And if it's got too much, just pour some straight up bourbon in it of your liking and dial it back down to where you like it. I was going to see if I could shoot this. Not this, because I know it tastes horrible if you drink it straight. Now, maybe if it had an old-fashioned, and instead of like the orange and whatever else you put in an old-fashioned, maybe put something different, something that goes with coffee. Maybe some cream on top or something, I don't know. I'm not a mixologist, so I couldn't tell you. But we're going to try to shoot this on a double bubble. I don't know if you've ever seen a double bubble, but you put your mixer in the bottom, and then it's only a half a shot in the top. It's not much. But we're going to see if it'll double bubble and ends up being enjoyable. Usually when you do this, you can only taste the mixer and you can't taste the alcohol. I think that's why they designed these. I don't know. And actually, if you look, that's Jack Daniels. I don't know. But here it goes. Here it goes. We're going to give it a shot. And then we're going to talk about the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Very, very near and dear to all of our hearts. Very important time of year. You know, in the Philippines, they start in September, and they continue on until the end of December. And then, of course, the 12 days of Christmas are the 12 days following. I never knew that. I don't know anything about the 12 days of Christmas. What the fuck do I know? I do a little research here and there. But, yeah, it goes up until January 6th. And the holly, that was a whole pagan thing, too. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Well, in the pagan times, around 300 BC or AD, Christians were persecuted and killed. Of course, they still are. Many people of different faiths are persecuted. Bosnia-Herzegovina, look it up. Look it up. That was no bullshit. But yeah, if you're a Christian and you go to Morocco today, you better not stay there long. You may end up, persecuted. Anyway, just all crazy shit that goes into my head. We're going to try this. Here we go. Yeah, I can taste the coffee. I can taste the Pepsi. It's all there. But a half a shot, I guess you could slam these. I don't know. I prefer just mixing my drink and walking around here, stumbling around here, whatever I'm going to do, and put whatever together. Now, mind you, I'm not going to rebuild an engine after I've been drinking. That's a no-no. Don't do that. And don't let Brother Brian call you on the phone every 20 effing minutes when you're trying to put a rotating assembly together. It doesn't work. As Dad would say, always plastic gauge. Always. It's a rule. You don't break it. There's some things you don't do. And one of them is you don't put an engine together without plastic gauging it. He's right. He's always right. I don't know why Dad's always right, but Dad's always right. Don't question it. And if he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's going to tell you. Fill her up. Fill her up. So just off to the side here, note, I'm going to try to start a charitable establishment. It's going to be Veterans Camping Initiative. If you're interested, look it up. I'm going to try to take some veterans out camping. Long term, probably going to have to, long-term goal is going to have like a wheelchair accessible vehicle, some off-road wheelchairs, maybe some prosthetics for these guys. I got currently a sponsor, but we're just getting off the ground. It's just in its infancy. It'll come off the ground here January. So look it up if you're interested. I'm not going to ask anybody for money. If I can't find money, I'll generate it myself. I don't know. I'm not selling my race car, but I'll do what I can. Okay, where are we going here? We're mixing a drink. We're talking about Christmas. So let's talk about this. I mean, I know sometimes I may come off a little staunchy about Christmas, but it's because I want to get away from Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Super Saturday. It's become so commercialized that it turns me off, and I apologize for that. But the true meaning of Christmas is to give to one another, but it doesn't say anything about having to go shopping. I mean, okay, ladies, I know, back off. I'm sorry. I know you love your shopping, but it's since the 90s, right? That's actually when Black Friday began, was sometime in the 90s. I don't know. I was I was out of the country for a large portion of that. But it seemed like that's when it started. What, I don't know, 92, 93, 94, 95, somewhere in there, somewhere in there. Um, and it got to where, people were fighting. Now, that doesn't coincide with Christmas. That's not brotherly love. And I was just so moved the other day. We were coming back from Hutch, and a lady paid for whatever I gathered up when I was at McPherson, just some snacks or something, and it was very kind. She just stopped and doing good deeds. The people in front of me in line, they had an RV out there, and they had $90 worth of shit. I was like, well, that's her prerogative, and I think it's wonderful. I like to give, I really do. I also like for people to be appreciative of the giving, but to expect that is, I don't believe in good Christian faith. But it is what it is. You'll have to forgive me for that, but I don't mind giving it all. I enjoy it. But the Christmas story, around about September sometime, Joseph and Mary were going to the lottery, which it's like the census for the United States. You go in and you stand up and be held accountable. Hey, I'm here. You just tell them you're there. Have you had any children in the past year? Did you harvest crops? Blah, blah, blah. Because the Romans were all about documentation. They wanted to see everything and make sure it was all boom, boom, boom. And they kept very good records. I'd have to talk to my uncle about that. He was a professor up in Alberta at one of the theology colleges up there. He's, but anyway, they were on their way there, and they stopped in Bethlehem because she was like, "Hey, I'm popping out a baby." Of course, as the story goes, it was at night. Now there were not three wise men there. I'll tell you about that. Don't get bent out of shape over it. But they were there. There wasn't any room in town. All the hotels or whatever, the guest houses, they were all booked up because, people were there for the census to sign the book and, give the Romans their information. So they were out, in this pasture area, in this little manger, and there's shepherds around. But all of a sudden, there's 1,000 angels standing around. All the shepherds probably pissed their pants. I know I would, because angels are like, freaking 9 feet tall, and scary situation. You're like, God, are we being invaded? What the hell's going on? We're in trouble here. But all these angels were there for the birth, for the arrival, right, on earth. Very shocking situation. Now, there were not three wise men there because the three wise men, they predicted it, but they didn't know when this was going to happen. And they saw the Star of Bethlehem, and they're like, oh, hey, it's time. We got to go, towards, oh, gosh, I don't know the name of the town, but they were headed towards the kingdom. And, of course, it took them a while. And when they met with King Herod, Jesus was probably a year, maybe a year and a half old. And that's when he proclaimed, we're going to have all the children, all the boys in the kingdom need to be killed. Which, I know. But again, you go back to the ethnic cleansing that just happened, 20-some years ago. And it's no joke, it happens. It still happens today. So anyway, back to it. The three wise men showed up, and Jesus was already, well into his toddlerhood or getting into his toddlerhood. somehow they were able to hide and survive this terrible, terrible sentence that King Herod had issued amongst all the male children in the kingdom. But yeah, that's the birth of Jesus. So a lot of the other stuff, the songs, Deck the Halls, all that's all pagan stuff. But we still sing the songs. It's awesome. Christmas season is great, and we try to commune and share love, and not go to Kmart and get into a fight, things like that. That's what turns me down on Christmas, but I still remain up. Sadly, when you get into winter, there's a lot of people that, I guess they're deprived of vitamin D. That's my best guess. I don't know. It's just a guess. But there's a lot of depression around Christmas, around the holidays. Maybe people are missing their family members that have passed away. Pancreatic cancer really does suck, and things like that. As a matter of fact, a friend of my dad's just died yesterday. The windstorm damaged his roof, and he didn't want to wait for the insurance adjuster. This is no bullshit. He's 83 years old. He climbed up on the ladder, got up on the roof, and he lost his balance and fell down and hit the ground and died. Yeah, no kidding. CB, we have coffee with him. But I can just imagine, though, it cracks me up because he's 83 years old. He lived a good life, He's leaving his body and he's looking down at him laying on the ground and be like, that's just CB. He'd be looking at him, well, shit. That didn't work out. And that's just the way, that happened. But in my mind, the way I see things, which is out of the box normally, he probably just, he lived a good long life, and it beats the shit out of getting sick and dying of anything, but he lived a good life. He was a good guy, and he'll be missed. But things like that, they affect people during the holidays. So if I might suggest it to you, do some good things, and just take care of your people around you, the people in your circle. Show them some love, and you don't have to buy them anything. Hell, make them a present. Just give them a hug, knock on their door, check in on them, and live by the golden rule, which I'm not saying I'm good, because I fail. I do fall short. That's no bullshit. I fall short. And I think, we probably all do. We all do. But it's a good time of year, and I'll try to do better. Try to do better, and just good cheer and much love. I hope you all have a wonderful, Merry Christmas. I love all of y'all, and I hope you love each other. Have a good one.